Okay, so good morning, everyone. Here we are on Tuesday, January 10th. We're still in the book, but we're closing in, right? We're closing in. We only have a few more chapters. Chapter 18, Groundlessness, is the chapter that we will be reviewing today. Not anyone's favorite chapter. You heard me say a couple times ago, 18 is my favorite chapter. It's not for its writing. It is my favorite chapter for its liberation. For its liberation. As we continue to recognize, this is the path though, isn't it? We don't just get groundless. That's a big lie. So don't be thinking, how do I get to groundlessness? That's kind of crazy. That's kind of nuts. What we're, and really, so don't try like I'm groundless. No, be careful. What you are doing though, is what's the first noble truth in the teachings? Recognize the path to suffering. This is first noble truth. It says, this is the way we always begin. We don't accomplish, achieve, bear fruit, nothing. We're just recognizing what contributes to our pain, and then what ultimately liberates us, right? So this word emptiness has zero meaning, right? For all of us, 0% meaning. What does it mean? Somebody, Joseph Goldstein, once read in a book, a math book. And then he said, I like this quote for emptiness. He said, it isn't seeing the zero, it's looking through it. So can you imagine the difference there? It isn't seeing a zero and making meaning of nothingness. It's really seeing right through in a continuous, right, ongoing through it, holding nothing, clinging to nothing, rejecting nothing. Most importantly, what? Ideas about oneself. Limited. The Buddha said, so limited, so small. This small mind can't even get it. And in fact, every time you do it, you're doing harm. And most of the time we're creating concepts, thoughts, ideas, attributes, definitions of self. Really, what are we doing? It's coming not from clear seeing mind. It's coming from fear. All defining, all making meaning, all really is some attempt to grab something. Why? Because we hate the idea, don't we, of no moment known. It's the precipice. We're standing right on the, in fact, we're being thrown off the cliff every moment then, right? Ugh, you're already, ugh, there's nothing. Joko used to say to me, oh, don't worry, honey, don't worry, there is no ground. Right? And I'd sneer. Stupid. And it was true. It is true now. And I couldn't even get close to that thought. No ground. You don't have to worry about flinging yourself off the cliff. Nothing to hit. And this is something I work on continuously, fail at continuously, and learn from every time I do it. How do I know? It hurts. Right? How do we know that we're clinging to something, grasping at something, rejecting something, wanting something, not want? It hurts. That's it. You know, every time you get burnt, you're grabbing a rope. And so then we just go, wait, opportunity, really beautiful. Let me be open to, where is it that I am seeking, clinging, bracing against, avoiding? And that clear seeing right through the zero, right, really will have you do what? There's only one thing to do. We let go. See, if you think of that rope being pulled from our, we just simply rest back. This is our practice then, right? Isn't this what we're practicing over and over every day? This resting back. With what? Right? Sore throat. resting back, achy shoulder, resting back, questions about my hip, resting back, right? What's the diagnosis? Being human. Humanness, our vulnerability in that humanness, right? And see, we don't like it because it makes us cry. We don't like that, right? We want a bright, sunny day. We don't want the rain. And by the way, they're all true, aren't they? There's no, see, you can't fix even to that. Is there only fear? No. Is there only freedom? No. Remember the chapter, it says, is form emptiness? Emptiness is form? No, says the Buddha. Is it both? No. Is it neither? No. Is it both and neither? No. Right? And Shariputra goes, well, what the fuck? What's that? Like, what? Where do you?
Did he do that just so they would be forced to
Yes.
feel the groundlessness?
Yes. Libby just said, did he do it really to just cultivate that felt sense of no ground? And the answer is yes. And the truth is that there is no ground. Is it both? Yes and no. Is it neither? Yes and no. Is it both and neither? Yes and no. I wouldn't have, you don't even really need to say no. You could say yes and no. Because what? Well, conditions like this, no, conditions like this, more, but nothing to hold, right? Krishnamurti, it says in the book also, by the way, and then we'll practice. Krishnamurti was a contemporary who also went to nothingness. And he was very difficult around the issue because he really disbanded everything. The groups would form, the philosophy, and he'd say, we're gathering around something. And now this is a problem. So today, as we, yeah, go ahead, Carrie.
I need to go. I have an eye doctor appointment, so I'm going to make you host, okay?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Carrie, always.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Please be well at the doctor. Hopefully it's just seeing clearly.
Yeah, I know. I have some floaters, so I'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is just what happens, right? This is all the good stuff we
All or
get.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And this and
Floaters and no float. There's a lot of space around those floaters.
right.
It looked great. It looked great, Carrie.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, Carrie. Be well.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you too.
So we're going to begin by sitting, and I'm going to recite a chant a couple times. This is a chant we're going to learn if you don't know it. If you know, you've heard it. Certainly, it is probably the most classic and traditional Buddhist chant. And I will sit first for a minute, and then I'll start reciting it. And this is the habits with chants. Same problem, right? Learning it, thinking if I learn it, this will give me something. And then in our relative reality, in relative bodhicitta, we go towards anything that opens the heart, mind. We turn towards anything. So we're not going to grab the chant. It's why I'm going to say it a couple different ways. Then I am going to actually ask that you recite it or write it. Either one, recite and or write, or both in your way. And then this is the essence of groundlessness that comes directly out of the Heart Sutra. And so let's sit first, and then I'll turn us towards that. I'm going to take one more sip. So beginning to turn the heart mind where it has always been and will always be. Right, where it has always been and will always be, just this one present moment. And that first strike of silence begins to open the door for us to that groundlessness. Nothing to hold, no handles, no languaging, no words, no concepts. Can we rest here? And I'm choosing the open eye practice today because there's lots of objects and they all look pretty interesting, especially my candles. Nope, not the practice. Open space, stillness and silence. And we ignite the heart of bodhicitta by this very spaciousness, by this very reality of boundlessness, no limit, no color, no birthing, no deathing, just open, vast, boundless, the reality of every moment right here. And we place the heart mind in that boundlessness. And maybe a better way to understand it is we remember our own true nature rather than moving anything, because you don't have to really. That's an instruction to support you. But the truth is, as you make contact with that spaciousness, remembering the qualities of your own heart mind, right there. Igniting bodhicitta. This is the remembering, taking our true formless form, not limited by body, not limited by sense doors, not limited by identities, not by sensations, not by sounds, not by objects. And then we recognize in that spaciousness, from that warmth, that friendliness, that wholeheartedness, we recognize the habit of mind to make form from emptiness. And this is not a failure, it's not a personal problem. It is just the nature of that habit, fear-based mind to grab something. So my eye keeps flicking over to that little flickering candle, something to grab. And without bias, without prejudice, without making a me of it, can I just recognize nature of mind rather than starting to tell the Diana story. And then I simply open back to the vast, empty, boundless space. There are no permanent, fixed, solid, or separate objects. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. There's nothing to grab, to keep, to hold, to secure solid ground. Everything a dream, a mirage. Remember our one of our chants, a dewdrop, a lightning bolt, a flash. Simply an appearance made of cloud and smoke. Nothing to keep. So watch the mind. And where it looks for comfort, security, protection, safety. And there is only one. Everything gone, gone, gone beyond, completely gone. Nothing to hold, nothing to seek, nothing to crave. Complete, free. So be it. No eyes, no ears, no nose, no mouth, no body. No seeing, no hearing, no tasting, no touching, no knowing. No I, no me, no mine. This doesn't mean that we don't see, but we don't cling to objects. It doesn't mean that there is not the momentary arising of the train whistle. It means nothing to hold, nothing to keep, nothing that is mine. No ground. We even let go of the breath, the mind that knows the breath. We rest back into our true nature. Again and again, open, spacious, vast, and infinite, boundless. No age, no color, no birth, no death. As we recognize the habits of mind, we smile. And are once again liberated. Thoughts about emptiness, not emptiness. Thoughts about the mind, not the mind. The mind in its stillness sees its movement. Do not mistake it as you. We have mistaken ourselves as arising objects, sensations, sounds, thoughts, feelings, when the whole while we are the vast open space in which it merely comes and goes. I'm neither a wandering mind or a concentrated one. I'm not limited by quality of mind. I'm not a thought or a sensation, a sound, an image, or an identity. Gate, gate, parasangati, bodhiswaha. Gate, gate, parasangati, bodhiswaha. Gate, gate, parasamgati, bodhi, swaha, gate, paragate, parasamgati, bodhi, swaha. Gone, gone, completely gone, forever gone. Nothing to hold, nothing to cling to. Limited. Released. Let it go, let it go, let it all go. Cling to it. Is it this? No. Is it that? No. Is it this and that? No. Is it neither this and that? No. Is it both this and that and neither this and that? No. Is it everything and nothing? No. Gone. Gone. Completely gone. Gone from all attachments, all clinging, all resistance, all aversion, all hatred. And finally, free. May all beings be free. Recognizing our true nature. So then, no problem. Right? And no problem. We don't resist, we don't fight with, we don't work against. When I remember, everything else seems hilarious. And we smile. I see Greg on. Greg, any thoughts?
No thoughts.
That's right.
That's right. No, nothing.
Don't make
no
them
thoughts.
up. Don't make them up. Not too helpful. We don't need the thought. We don't need the answer. And in fact, this was part of the Buddha's call. We don't even need the question. Right? This is a little bit the tone between Avalokiteshvara and Sariputra. He let them fight it out, by the way, right? He didn't get in the mix at all. He stayed out of it, right? He let them go, right? Is it this? Nope. That? Nope. This and that? Nope. Not this and that? Nope. This and that and something else? Nope. Not
I
at
would
all.
love to have been there.
Wouldn't you have?
Whenever I read that, it's like, wow, I want to be there.
Yeah, it's
That discussion.
Carrie and I were at Vulture Peak, by the way.
Oh,
We were there, and there is actually a rock, and it looks like a soaring vulture. And it's huge, by the way. And this is supposedly the place where the Buddha offered this teaching at Vulture Peak. And the truth is soaring, right? Open space, infinite, nothing to cling to. Seems a perfect opportunity. And can we then see, the practice will then be, can we see and offer ourselves back the open space with what? The chant, gate, gate, gone, let it go, let it go. It says, let it go, let it go. Don't grab, don't cling. No, don't buy in. Don't make meaning. It will be too small. Right? Let it go, let it go. I love, I think it was Pem, I'm not sure, who took that tome, the Gate chant, and sang it. It was so beautiful. And she sang it, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, Bodhi Swaha. She screamed. That was hilarious. Like flinging myself right off that cliff, right off the ground, right off of what I just was clinging to, the chant, the voice, the ground beneath my feet. Scream all the way down, because that's the only way really to discover what is true. And what is that? My teacher says, no ground, never been a ground. You were afraid of hitting something the whole time that never existed. It was an illusion, a dream. So don't worry, right? Go, just throw yourself. So when I was for 2 years screaming, waking up screaming in night terrors every night, after about 9 years of practice, I went to every teacher I could get my hands on. And every single one of them said the same thing. let it die. What? Just die. Why are you screaming? Yeah, no, wrong answer. I'm looking for an answer. I want a solution. I want to get out of this. I want to find the way. And Joko ultimately said, that's not you. And that finally made sense. That isn't even you. The one screaming is not you. The one fearful is not you. You don't need to worry. Just let it happen or let it not happen. Doesn't matter. It's not, doesn't change anything. And I finally got it. It took 2 years of clinging to something, an idea, a practice, a teacher, an answer with a very important question. So it appears, but not really. So it doesn't matter anyway. Scream or don't scream. What? Huh? Sleep or don't sleep. Huh? What? What do you mean? Eat or don't. Really. It's not really. And is there a skillful way to be with that? And actually the Buddhist teachings say this, by the way, and then we'll look at the chapter. It says, well, he tried not eating, he tried eating. Neither really, didn't really either way, right? He tried the princely life and then he tried the ascetic life, and really neither worked out. Not exactly, right? Because what any philosophy, any practice, any ultimately is going to fail us by its limitation, by its limited view. And it doesn't mean that the truth does not exist, but it exists only as we know it this moment, as we know the boundless heart this moment. That matters. The idea of the boundless heart is gorgeous and a waste of time. By the way, folks, a waste of time. Stop thinking about the boundless heart, right? Live that. Live that. That'll matter. That'll mean something. Let's go back and look at the chapter then. I wanted to point back for just a moment to the 6 paramitas. It says that these qualities, cultivating qualities, this is our relative bodhicitta then, right? Since we are here, since we do have this appearance of body, mind, where can we train? And it says in these 6 paramitas and the 4 boundless abodes. The 6 paramitas, these are qualities of bodhicitta: generosity, discipline, patience. This is on page, what's the page? I don't know. It's not.
98.
Thank you. I appreciate that. 98. Joyful enthusiasm, one of my favorites. Meditation, one of the necessities for our practice. Thank you all those who've been getting me your intention for practice. I'm missing a couple of you. I will, this is the week. Come and get you. And prajna paramita, the one that sees clearly, that which sees clearly the path. And which one to invite, which quality of relative bodhicitta to invite. And many of you chose patience and some other beautiful practices to continue to explore, inquire last week. Thank you. The everyday practice is simply to develop a complete acceptance and openness to all situations and emotions, to all people, experiencing everything totally without mental limitation or reservation or block, so that one never withdraws or centralizes into oneself. It simply means make a self separate from what? That which is experienced. Me seeing it, me knowing you, me hearing sound, all of this being dualistic and by virtue of its dualistic nature, false. So then we're going to look at the chapter. It looks like we're on page 99 or so now. There's Vulture Peak Mountain, a gorgeous place. And I feel so privileged to have the opportunity to have been there right before COVID with Carrie. And here it says, many of the students at Vulture Peak had a profound realization of impermanence and egolessness, the truth that nothing, including ourselves, is solid, predictable, fixed, graspable. What would be some other words, anybody? Real, safe, right? Nothing. Profound realization. This is where Pema screams, ah, then what? They understood that suffering that results from grasping and fixation, and recognized then, by virtue of knowing that first noble truth, saw the path to the end of suffering. They knew that our tendency down there to seek solid ground is deeply rooted right in our humanness, right in the brain stem. We don't have to get rid of it. We have to simply recognize its nature. We don't have to become it. We don't have to believe this is who we really are. We have to recognize the nature of this human mind in its survival instinct to make a self and then protect and secure, and not a problem in the sea. No problem. Now, there I am, gripping and grabbing. Ego can use anything to maintain the illusion of security, including the belief in insubstantiality and change, including the belief in ever-changing realities and impermanence. The idea of impermanence is so easy, isn't it? Like, don't we all? Yeah, everything. Yeah, so, yeah, right? Isn't it true? Until you're in ER. Not so easy in ER. Right? Not so easy when they've got the monitor on you going, I don't know, things aren't looking that good. Right? This happened to me, by the way, in ER. I had an AFib event by virtue of dehydration and excess caffeine, which I didn't know I was drinking. And it threw my heart rate into a mess. And I'm in ER, pretty sure I'm not going to live because things were not going well. And a code blue happened. I don't know if anybody knows this story. Code blue, and I went, this is me. Literally, I am dying. And what was funny about that, and many of you who've had these kind of experiences know this, I actually, it totally like opened. It was like, blip, nothing to do. And I'm watching things go around and people grabbing and curtains flying. It's the guy next to me, by the way, who I don't know is there till they throw all this stuff. And I, in that moment, turned to his wife, who has now been pushed against a wall in the back. And the only thing I could do was feel for her. Feel for her. That was it. There was nothing. Feel for her. Right? As so, right, this is the truth of our reality in the long run, right? When it all falls away. There that is. It is the only reality. The Buddha told the group that had gathered, the monks, whatever they believed had to be let go. There it is, right? That dwelling upon any description or any preformed a priori reality was a trap. There's no safety, no refuge here. It wiped away all their existing concepts about the nature of reality. The Buddha's principal message that day was that holding on to anything blocks wisdom. That's a hard idea, isn't it? holding on to anything, including wisdom, blocks wisdom. Then what do you do? I don't know. We're not here. We're here. What do you do? What do you, right? Any conclusion is deficient and must be let go of. The only way to practice then fully is to abide in the unconditional openness of prajna paramita. What? Wisdom of when? Now. This is it. Cutting all tendencies, all habits, all hanging on. And the Heart Sutra is the beautiful expression of that. And my very favorite version of that, which I would be happy to send you, is by Roshi Joan Halifax, co-teacher, Kaz. He wrote some, and so instead of form is emptiness, emptiness is form, he's really changed that into some beautiful current language. I will send it to you. It is absolutely stunning. And I think it even better reflects the reality. The insights that we get are not based on intellect. Okay, then what? If not intellect, no thinking mind is going to get you there. I tried that really well for 2 years. Look how successful I was. If not the thinking mind, then what? Who knows? Write it in the chat. What are you going to rely on? Since the thinking mind is not going to be sufficient, and I'm guaranteeing it to you. What can we rely on? Right. Nothing but arriving, presence, present moment, and not knowing. Really, we bring the mind of not knowing to it, don't we? I'm just going to arrive here, bring all the things I have, the faculty that I have without predisposition, it says, without bias, without prejudice, even without what I thought was true back there. Can't even arrive to the door. Prajna paramita is not based on past experience. It's larger. It is not, oh, but then that back there, nothing. It's no, right here, this is what will most inform me. I can't even count on, well, every time I ate that, it went this way, so that's the way it always is. Well, interestingly, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. I was lactose intolerant. I'll just give you a crazy example. While I was eating sugars in my diet, when I eliminated sugar, guess what? Milk didn't bother me at all. But I'm lactose intolerant. How is that possible? Well, because I didn't see clearly the causes and conditions that contributed to that. And yes, every time back there, I ate pizza or ice cream or put cream in my coffee, I got sick. It was true, based on those conditions. Based on those conditions. Nothing can be taken in blind faith. I love this truth. And we don't like that. We want to believe in something, trust something. By the way, you will be challenged right there. So wherever you think, this is good, I can do this, or this is horrible, I can't do that, you're guaranteed to create that edge of practice right there, right? Which is, I can't sit for more than blank minutes. Well, now you're going to be forced to that one way, or interestingly, or another, and vice versa. I can only do it this way. I need my cushion. I need my candle. I need life to be a certain way. You're guaranteed. You have created the conditions now for being pushed up against the reality of that limit, aren't you? Necessarily, right? You've got to now go to see the truth of that. No, this is also not true, and also not true. Right? Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Emptiness is no other than form. Form is no other than emptiness. this again is just to untangle the mind, not to find answers in, just so we know. Form is that which simply is before we project our beliefs onto it, or our experience, or our anything that we possess, just arriving empty, open, receptive is prajna paramita, no previous will apply. It's fluid process, not something definite. It's a fluid process, not something definitive or for sure or concrete that can be summed up, measured. We might even say known, because it is a knowing, isn't it? Not a known. That's what I mean. You never put the N on the end of know, because that solidifies it, doesn't it? It is known, really, till this moment when all of a sudden you can eat dairy. Known lactose intolerant, really? No. See, there's the Buddha, right there. No. Is it true? No. Is it not true? No. No. Right, there it is. Look at that one little everyday example right there. Prajna paramita. Whew, takes it all away. Were you lactose intolerant? I don't know. Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. The only thing I know is, right, sugar played some part. Do I know this for sure? No. Can I exit out of it? No, not that either. It is a state of basic intelligence that is open, questioning, curious, and inquiring, and unbiased. No previous thought. Can I arrive completely? Trungpa says we cultivate a simple, direct relationship with our being. No philosophies, no moralizing, no judgments, no conceptualizing. Whatever arises in our mind is workable from there. It is true. It is true. If we're not putting on the should go like this, should not go like this, you won't have a problem. That's emptiness. If you put I should be pleasant, it's going to be this, you're guaranteed to come up against that conceptualizing. It's guaranteed to push you to its edge. Simple, direct relationship with the immediacy of experience, direct contact with blood and sweat and flowers, love and hate. There it is. We should look at things without preconceptions. It's very challenging to arrive fresh, new, wide open.
Can I add a comment there?
Yes, Greg.
So yesterday I had a procedure called a Lexa scan, which is a stress test. I really did not know anything about it, except that it was a stress test. It was a drug-induced stress test. And, it's they do a scan with a radioisotope. They look at your heart. And I think it's kind of new, but anyway, so I didn't know anything about it. So interestingly, after they've injected this radioisotope, they lay me on this table and they connect all these electrodes and they're ready to inject me with a Lexa scan. And the lady says, "Are you nervous?" And I said, "Nope," because I don't know anything about it.
I don't even know enough to be nervous.
I'm kind of glad I didn't. They give it to you and immediately, within about 2 seconds, you are running up a hill that's at 50% and your heart goes from 0 to whatever it is in about
Exploding.
length of time, and you are just breathless.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're about ready to croak. 5 seconds, and then you finally get your breath, and then you're going on. And there was really, except for the immediate sort of experience, which was kind of like, oh no, what's happening here? But really just kind of experiencing it, and it was really quite interesting afterwards. Unfortunately, I know that if I have to go through it again, I will know too much.
Well, this is where our continual letting go
Right.
to arrive is. And boy, especially where it's related to negativity bias, right? How hard is that? Because fear imprints deeply,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Like, oh no, I'm not forgetting that ever. That'll never be gone. That and the deep root, right? The deep rut of that default network goes, oh yeah, this is front and center in my thing. And it would happen naturally. There wouldn't even be anything you could do or not do, right? And this is not our work, is to go, I got to try now not to be afraid. Remember Buddha's words, no, won't serve you. Be afraid, no, won't serve you. What? Everything, an illusion, everything in its temporariness, fear and not fear. Heart attack and not heart attack, Greg and no Greg. All illusion. And boy, there's nothing to do, real, right? Can we open? Wow. And then this arising, and then feeling like, oh my God, maybe I'm gonna, right, just and naming, which we know, not to cling for its recognition, not to cling. We name for recognition alone. That sounds absolutely terrifying. I do know that experience, by the way, and don't want to repeat it. That mind, I know, is going, I don't need to do that again either. I don't, that's not what, and in fact, what? I don't want to cling because in some way I'm inviting, is what I'm telling you. The very thing we go, no, not that. In some way, we're calling in a very interesting way to ourselves. So, right? Gate, paragate, parasam, gate, bodhi, svaha, release. I don't know. I don't know. There's no need to know or add anything more than this moment. These were some of the continuing thoughts from the Buddha.
I have a question for you.
Yes, Craig.
So have you used that in a moment when you knew you were about to enter some sort of a fearful state?
Yes.
A screaming, let's say.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. In fact, that's part of the call, is to go into release, right? And again, throw up your hands. Don't know, bow your head, recite the chant. So to remember what? Know nothing. I know nothing. I am humbled and filled with humility for this present moment.
Yeah.
This is what the chant invokes. Gone, all your thoughts about it, all your ideas, all your knowing. Forget about it.
I have recited that chant many times, as you know, and I don't think I've ever recited it when I was in that kind of a situation, which is right. Actually, this morning, I just kind of got it, that it's how important that could be, how useful
Yes.
that could be, because the fear is the fear, I mean, it's
Yeah.
there, you're screaming or you're not screaming.
Yeah.
And, but to have that as a sort of a resource to go to, helpful.
Yes. If you watch the Dalai Lama during his meditations, you'll see him reciting it. You'll see him. That's what he's reciting.
Yeah.
He's singing the chant. He's placing in mind continually, let go of this, now let go of this, and now let go of this, and let go of this, and not that, and let go of this. And right, it's continuous.
It's like Gandhi when he died, when he was shot. He just said God. Yeah.
That's right.
Opening to everything.
Opening, infinite, right? Whatever invokes that, no clinging, nothing to grab, nothing to brace against, no ground. I say that to myself sometimes. That's my gate, no ground,
Right.
nothing to hit, nothing to fall into. And it continues this no reality, no not reality, right? This non-dual. This is the non-dual calling of prajna paramita. Nothing to be known, only knowing. Only there's nothing, not even the Buddha's teachings, said the Buddha. Forget about it. Not the marks of existence, not the four noble truths, nothing to cling to. No imprisonment, no liberation, no birth, no death, as we know. We don't like to have our basic assumptions challenged. It's too threatening. And this is what happens as we go. If I practice, will it help? That's a gigantic, will it help me? Well, yes and no. True and not true. Pleasant and unpleasant, both, yes, no, and. Right, see, where do you go? And you know, wherever you land, remember, you're setting up a structure that's going to be slammed into. You have just made something solid. I am guaranteeing you that's your path to setting up suffering. Wherever you think you can land, that's going to be your problem territory. And by virtue of the mind seeking something, you will suffer there necessarily, right? Necessarily. Shariputra, he taught that when we understand that there is no final attainment, no nirvana, no samsara, remember these words, no enlightenment, no enlightenment, right? There's only what? Arriving this moment. This is what bothers me when I hear people go, well, that person's enlightened. Really? How is that? How is that? How were you enlightened? And how is that possible? Not. There is no separation, there is no ultimate fear, and there is no reality of no fear, right? These are the relative and absolute bodhicitta being held together. Neither is wholly true. Yes, you put on your pants, and by the way, is that going to equal freedom for you? Only, right, this breath moment. You don't know anything. Will pants serve you in the long run? Probably not. Will we be able to cling to them or count on them? Probably not. Do we put them on anyway? Absolutely. Right? What's true? True and not true. The teachings really are about fearlessness, that we learn to cultivate a natural basic bravery for the not knowingness of the present moment. And then we learn, don't we, again and again, to stop fighting with that essential truth. I don't care how you prepare, how you plan, right? This is my favorite paragraph in it, so I think I'll read it. This instruction on prajna paramita is a teaching on fearlessness. And again, we can't cling to that idea either now, to the extent that we stop struggling against what we can and cannot know, right? To that extent, we begin, I will only say, to dissolve that solid fear. The synonym for total fearlessness is full, complete enlightenment. Remember, careful here. Enlightenment? No. Enlightening? Probably. Wholehearted, open-minded interaction with all of life. And we train patiently. Gate, para gate, parasam gate, bodhi, svaha, open, release, relax, again and again and again. Into what? The groundlessness. The mind in the groundlessness that can only then be fearless. Because while you're fallen, what do you got? Nothing. Right. And the bhikkhus rejoiced at hearing this teaching on stepping beyond fear. On beyond. This is it. Beyond, completely beyond. Nothing to hold or cling to complete freedom. And rejoice.
And stepping beyond fear does not mean there isn't fear.
That is completely correct.
And I think a lot of people misunderstand that.
Don't we? That does not mean no fear. That's that whole, what was that, an 80s thing, kind of, no fear, remember that?
Oh, fear, yeah, right.
Oh, ah ha ha, joke, laugh. Joke, joke, laugh, laugh. No fear. Really? Who are you? Who are you?
It's why when somebody asks me, you know, why are you afraid of death? I think it's like a redundant question. You know, what do you mean? Why am I afraid of death?
How could I not be?
There is death and I'm afraid of it. Okay, there you go. But I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
If I may add, this reminds me of free falling from a 2 stories up, and when I was helping a cabin up in Big Bear, and I went into a deja vu state, and just went into, all I can say, a deja vu state, and I was able to walk away. Where this young fellow broke his bones and they had to take him to the hospital, and I walked away, and I'll never forget that, because it was just like absolutely no fear, nothing, and just boom, going down,
Nothing to cling to.
nothing.
Nothing to cling to. And the more we can open into that, and I've had several of these moments. I've almost drowned in a rafting experience. I've had a major accident where watching that shattering glass that we all know about, those moments. And by the way, no thoughts, no self, experiencing. That was it. Broken bone or none, I don't know. It's not even relevant right then. You're just in experiencing, going, and here this is, there's no fear. You move beyond fear. Gate, beyond, completely beyond. No thought, because the thought cannot serve you now. You're only here in this. This is the birthing, deathing, Bardo moment. No ground, nothing. The in-between state, says Pema, is every moment. There's nothing to cling to. In between the whole time. That's another way. That is my absolutely favorite chapter. We're going to get there soon. After heightened neuroses, which it was Chogyam's word, neuroses was what? Every moment of grabbing something. Every something. Even grabbing nothing is grabbing something. I'm going to grab nothing. I'm going to go rest in emptiness. This is a big Zen habit, right? So I, well, no, that's not true either. That's not true either. And so be watchful of that mind. So let's come on. Tell me what your thoughts are about this. Groundlessness as an idea is terrifying. Groundlessness as a reality is liberating. But as an idea, it's terrifying. But it's simply an idea. Nothing ever, no. Well, yes, but look at that arrival, right? Think about the moment you've arrived to that sunset, just the sunset. You didn't think about it, you weren't planning for it, and you didn't need to keep it. It was just, woof, there it is, falling off the roof, woof, that moment, flinging oneself off the precipice, as Joko said. The precipice of what? The thinking, knowing mind. Forget about it, right? Forget about it. Cannot serve you. It will cause, it is the essential cause, the neurosis of your suffering is that very mind that goes, I got some ideas about that. Really? No. Usual fear of the unknown. Yeah, that's human. We like the concept of knowing, and it is not possible.
But you see, I don't agree that it's we're afraid of the unknown. I feel like we're more afraid of what we think will happen.
Not actually. So even giving, so Libby said, Are we really afraid of the unknown, or are we really more afraid of what we think will happen? No, actually, the groundlessness of the unknown is understood to be the greatest terror, not the monster, the fact that you can't know it. Because the monster you think you know is easier than the one you don't. How do we know? We watch women who've gone through mammograms. I'll show you the study. And the mammogram is, it's easier to think you have cancer than to not know whether you do or not. You get what I'm saying? It's actually easier to have a monster you think you know than the one you don't.
When you're having a biopsy and you don't know for 2 weeks, I can tell you there's an awful lot of anxiety going on there.
Isn't there? It's
There is.
worse, says the research, than knowing, because the minute we know, what do? Planning, thinking, organizing, setting up appointments. We're going. We got the plan. We got it. We got something. Got something. Now, Shogim says, watch that plan. Watch that idea. I'm going to get in. I'm going to go up to Orange County. I'm going to get the best. And by the way, is it wrong? No. No. Is it human? Yes. Is it going to help? Maybe, right? For a moment, based on, but watch it. So it is the unknown itself, uncertainty, the not knowing. And don't we love plans, folks? Who loves a good plan? Don't we? We love a good plan, right? And in fact, the more we love the plan, the more detailed we get about the plan. Watch this. Right, all the way down to, got that down to the, will it contribute to the end of your suffering? No. Is it a bad idea to have a plan? No. See, here we go. Here's the Buddha. Will a plan help you? Yes, no, yes and no, not yes and no, maybe both yes and no. No place to go. No place. Right? Researching, planning, assessing, right? Paperwork, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Tanya, right. Doesn't mean we don't do it. That's not, see, you can't land there either, can you? You can't go, then don't do anything. Guess why? That's a plan. That's a plan. The one to go, I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to hang. Mike Shook used to say this to me all the time. You got the biggest plan I know, called no plan. That's a big old plan, not to have a plan. Right? That's not, there's no freedom in that. Have a plan, not have a plan, have a partial plan, no plan. Which plan? Is a plan good? Is a plan bad? Should I try to get rid of my plans? Should I try to get some plans? See where we go? Look at that, those minds. Where's the freedom? Nowhere. That's not freedom. I don't know. Called, I'll be here going, okay, this moment, right? Yeah, we all like things in a nice little box with a big old bow, says Jan. And if you can find that, point the way. Point the way to that. I have a friend who's a financial planner, and he terrifies me often, because he goes, no, I know, we're going to invest in blank. And I'm like, Sandy, you're freaking me out here, because what I know is you don't know anything. Right? Well, maybe in real estate, you don't know. No, you don't. You like the idea. And a lot of people are paying you a lot of money for those ideas. And by the way, I no objection. But just be careful, right? You have to be very careful about what you think you know, because right about that time, life happens, doesn't it? Right about the time you're going, I got this kind of sewed up, eating well, exercising, got it going on. Have avoided bacon for a lifetime. Watch what happens. Isn't it true? And then we go, it's not fair. Don't we? Don't we do that? Life's not fair. Life's not right. It's not right. Well, it is. That is life in its infinite mystery.
My new plan is the WTF plan.
Well, we can use some combinations of this.
Kind of right. Yeah.
Right? Can't we make a plan and then hold the plan lightly? Because of course, if it's true, the plan will change, won't it? The realities will appear by virtue of this present moment and then this one to go, oh, well, now I'm, mountain climbers talk about this a lot in the most beautiful way. They go, we make a general plan for how to get there, and then we arrive to just this step, just this moment,
Mhm.
right? Just this step, just this moment with what is here, right? And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Libby and I were reading yesterday. It was very sad. A beautiful woman, a hiker, Southern California hiker, decides to hike 3 times in 1 week, last week, Mount Baldy. She's turned back 2 times. The 3rd time she goes anyway. And she dies. Now, why? What happened? I'm going. I've got the plan. I'm going anyway. So she doesn't check in. She doesn't recognize what the conditions are. And she over relies on what self. She makes a self and she drags it up a mountain and falls 1,000 feet. So will we all, won't we? So will we all fall 1,000 feet once you go, I got this. No, you don't. No, you don't. And yes, you do. Is all true. Right? Be careful what you believe about this life, yourself, and others. You are wrong already.
Mhm.
Aren't you? You're wrong already by the very belief. I don't know. See, this is what Carrie goes, but I don't know. I don't know. When are they going to die? I don't know. What are they going to live? I don't know. Right? And everybody hates that. And that's her death doula practice. I will be with this. We will be with this. And come into knowing this. This is it. And let it inform. All right, everyone. It's 8:30. We're going to be working on chapter 19, heightened neuroses, as taught by Chogyam. And what's the neuroses? Every thought you have that you cling to. It's like this. Watch yourself all day long. It's like this. No, it's like this. This is what I know. This is how it is. This is how it should be. Heightened neuroses will cause your suffering. And then the second piece of work, noticing the clinging around any of that. Gotta, should, why not, how come, should, this is the way it is. This is the way I need to be. And then the chant. Gone, gone, gone. Let it go, release, release. Drop then into the truth of this moment. Call it out. Call it out. All right, everyone. Blessings to each of you. May we all be happy, all be free from clinging, from aversion to the ideas of knowing and not knowing, so that we can fully arrive to this present moment, open-hearted and unconditionally friendly and loving and free falling. So be it. Wonderful to see you all. Thursday, Greg, 7 a.m. Saturday in the garden. Rain or no rain, we have the plastic. We've been pulling it down in case it's raining. I will look forward to seeing all of you wherever that can be. Thank you all so much.
Thank you,
Greg,
guys.
thank you.
Be
Everyone,
safe.
be well.
Get out there. It's a little wet.
It's a little wet, going to stay that way, so it appears.
Yeah, and that's all right. I got some boots. I want to go play in some puddles.
There you go.
Stay off.
Sounds lovely. Enjoy, everyone.
Have a
Hey,